Happy Halloween, Death Arena fans! Tonight, we have a very terrifying battle between two of the most demonic beings in video game creepypasta history. SONIC.EXE, the demonic Hedgehog, and Red, the NES Godzilla killer. Which monstrous entity will continue their reign of terror? Find out tonight, for only one will leave the arena of death. The year is 2011, and the spooky campfire stories of the internet known as creepypastas have become a well-established medium for telling copyright-infringing horror stories. And one of the most popular stories was SONIC.EXE. It all started when some poor kid named Tom got a letter from his best friend Kyle, urging him to destroy a haunted CD disc. Instead, Tom played the haunted disc, which just so happened to be a portal to another dimension. Specifically, this is the home of the demented entity known as X, a being composed of dark matter who rules over an empty dimension he can warp and control to his will. And, no, his name is not actually SONIC.EXE, even though that's what the creepypasta is titled. His name is X. Oddly enough, X didn't even take form as the creator of his world either. He was apparently brought into existence by some grand cosmic fluke after his dimension had already been existing just fine without him before he molded it into his domain. And after he developed an egoistic god complex, a fascination with Sonic the Hedgehog, and stole Kefka's laugh, X began a quest to collect the souls of all humanity to use as his playthings. He's certainly not slacking in the abilities needed to do so too. Like any good horror villain, X has glowing red eyes, claws and fangs sharp enough to tear a human to shreds, and the ability to teleport wherever he wishes. X's ability to warp the reality of his home dimension also extends to his physical being, since it's composed of the same dark matter as he is. With it, he can shapeshift his body into various forms, such as a perfect copy of Sonic, perfectly copy all of Sonic's base form abilities, and manipulate dark matter for more typical energy beam attacks. Granted, he tends to use these abilities more for psychological manipulation than straight-up combat. He tends to get a kick out of messing with people, turning the world around them into a burning hellscape, teleport spamming when they try to fight him, forming barbed wires right out of the ground to choke a bitch, things like that. He's way more into breaking your spirit by mentally torturing you than breaking your bones. However, he is controlling a weak body. He may be more powerful and faster than base form Sonic, but he is much less durable. Overall, SONIC.EXE is Spirit, who is an expert at murder and making his victims feel helpless. But he was a very weak body. Zenith. A world from an alternate dimension that is almost nothing like our own. Like the others in its solar system, it's a harsh and brutal planet ruled by the most abnormal creatures you can imagine. The ground itself appears to be made of nothing but flesh and bone, and where there should be water, is nothing but lava. Because above its hellish appearance, there is something sinister lurking within its depths. A creature so foul that very few have lived to even mention it by name. The Hell Beast and ruler of Zenith, Red. Looking good is not really its first priority. No, that would be the complete and utter destruction of anything and everything that opposes it. From Mothra, to King Ghidorah to Godzilla himself. Red is a very dangerous, if not mysterious beast. Not much is known about the hellish kaiju apart from its sheer hatred of all things good. Seeing as he can dominate and manhandle Godzilla, he's got to be very powerful. And powerful he is. Is his normal form, Red uses physical attacks from his claws and scorpion-like tail. He is larger than Godzilla and King Ghidorah, and as such is much stronger. His attacks also include spewing hellfire from his maw and energy needles from his claws. He's also incredibly fast in all of his forms and seems to glitch the world around him. It turns out, Red and all of the worlds he appears in, are stored in a small NES cartridge. Red is proficient in reality warping. Whether that be on himself or his opponents, Red can warp the fabric of reality to his liking and then some. He can create other beings from the souls of those he's killed, make himself invincible, trap his enemies in endless loops, or literally raise levels of hell. In fact, he is so powerful that he not only created Zenith and presumably the other worlds in the game, but he can even affect people in the real world. Breaking the fourth wall. He was able to paralyze the player and even stop his heart, as well as making him feel the pain of the monsters he was playing as, meaning, yes, he did in fact defeat Godzilla, Mothra, and others. And he's got more than enough tools to do so. If his normal form doesn't do the trick, he can swap it out for some alternate modes. Flying, running, and swimming. and each one has their own unique abilities like raining fire bombs from above, shooting fire needles, and even increasing the power of his hellfire. But as powerful as he is, I wouldn't say he's unbeatable. He can still be harmed and feel pain from weaker kaiju. Red has no actual resistances and relies on his durability alone to tank blows, and his arrogance also cost him in the end when he fought and was killed by a Cassius. Despite being able to affect Zack from the outside world and make his final fight as challenging as possible, Red still lost because he is limited and confined by the restrictions of the game world. He is stuck there for the most part and has to abide to its limitations, no matter how much he warps reality. In a final fight scenario, this could make him more dangerous if he truly feels threatened. Overall, Red is capable of high-tier reality warping and defeating several kaijus, including Godzilla. But he isn't invincible, and can be put down by enough force.
You will die at my hands.
Now that was scary. First off, this was a close fight. Both Red and SONIC.EXE countered each other in numerous ways. However, due to his larger size and low mobility, Red was an easier target for SONIC.EXE to hit. Plus, SONIC.EXE is much faster, so hitting him would be very hard. Another thing to know is that SONIC.EXE's reality warping isn't as limited as Red's, especially since the battle took place in the EXE world. Also, Red didn't have any real way to stop SONIC.EXE from manipulating him. And yes, if this fight took place in Red's world, Red would have won. But in this circumstance, SONIC.EXE was just too much to handle. Now Red is in hell, where he belongs. The winner is SONIC.EXE.